Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. Today, we are thinking about raising resilient heroes. That is a thinker and something that we really need to be thinking about. And thankfully, I have LaTanya here who's going to help us think about this in a whole new way. So I'm really excited about this. Oh, I'm so excited. So, LaTanya, let's just dive in. When you hear those words, raising resilient heroes, what does that make you think about?
Oh my God, Mitzi. First of all, thank you for having me here today. Resilient heroes. It's so many things going on. So many things go through my mind. And first thing I just think about is allowing them to be seen and teaching them how their voice can be heard.
Yeah, it does because people don't realize how much power our voice can really have until you are given that knowledge. You know what I mean? People don't always educate the youth or the next generation that their power has value and their has voice, has power, and their words is so impactful. So, what made you put this in a children's book?
What made me put this into a children's book was because a lot of times when you think about children, they see so many things, but a lot of times we as adults don't think that they actually understand.
Yeah.
I felt that it was important to have a communication tool where an adult or family in general are able to communicate and look at this book and talk about different things that a child's hero, because the name of the book is My Hero's New Journey, and understanding that communication and connecting. Like, what do they see? How do they see these things? So it gives both the chance to look
Yeah.
outward, and think about how their injury or whatever's going on can affect them.
Yes, I love that. I love the way that you said that because in reality, as adults, as parents, we're so focused on our own lives and how to maintain the lives that we are trying to provide for our children that sometimes we allow like little things like how the children see the world slip out of our grips. You know what I mean? And we don't take into consideration what they're actually taking in and what they're receiving in and what they are trying to figure out. You know what I mean? Because children are constantly trying to figure out what's happening, what's going on, am I safe, is it, does this fit me, does this something that holds a value for me, you know what I mean? They're going through million miles an hour of trying to receive information, and we as adults, we need to have that understanding that sometimes it's okay to stop what we're doing and just try to break it down, you know what I mean? Or try to just allow the kids to explain what they see and how they absorb the world or how they're interpreting the world. And I love that because children need to see that their way that they are seeing the world is important because then that helps adults try to fix the way that we are actually living in our world. So it really does make us really think about this. So I guess I have to ask you, how do you see a hero? What makes a hero for you?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh my God, what makes a hero for me? Wow, that's a good one, Mitzi. Now I haven't had that question.
Gotta make it think about
Okay,
it.
nice. I like that. I think what makes a hero for me is someone who is able to communicate with me, someone who can communicate with an open heart and an open mind, non-judgmental, not to make me feel bad about whatever it is I'm going through,
Yeah.
someone who can help me understand the different steps or the transitions or the journeys, someone who's not afraid to share their experiences as well. Um, yeah, hmm.
Yeah, I got
I'm gonna start there. I'm gonna start there. That's a good one. I'm gonna have to write that one down. I like that
Yeah,
one.
because we really do have to think about what a hero really means. And if it's something so simple as having a good heart, a good communication, values, morals, being open-minded, having that empathy, being vulnerable. Oh my goodness, I really do believe in what you're just saying because when we are able to be vulnerable with one another and share our experiences, not only does that make us realize that it's relatable, we are relatable, we realize that we are united by a common cause. You know what I mean? We are united by a situation that may not seem suitable for others or cause that's causing others to feel diminished in one way or another. So the fact that you were like, where I don't feel judged, I think that really is important as well because judgment can really turn somebody off and can really close somebody's mind right away. You know what I mean? Because then you realize, oh, I'm not being seen, I'm not being heard, I'm not being valued. Then what's the point of even continuing forward? You know what I mean? There's no value here for me.
Exactly.
So it's just
Yeah.
like to have all of that really does embody that hero mindset. And I love it how it's so simple. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to have a superpower. You don't have to have the shiniest things in the world. You know what I mean? You just have to have a good heart, a good spirit, and just be a good human being. You know what I mean? And I think that really does hold so much value. So I guess I have to ask you, if you could have any superpower, what would that superpower be?
Ooh. Um,
It's another thinker. Dun dun dun.
okay. My I think would be to be able to transition to different parts of the world. Just to be able
Right.
to move to different parts of the world, um, wherever I want to be, wherever I want to go, wherever something is happening where I can maybe show up to offer my superpower and services. And I'll give one, for example, is our latest event, or I should say not event, tragedy that happened in Houston or Dallas where the floods came in and took all the
Yeah, in Galveston.
Galveston. Yes, I would love to have had a superpower to show up there and to support,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and especially the children. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
cool to be able to just not have to plan it out, just go, just
Oh,
transition
right.
and
Exactly.
just be there to help.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that would be beautiful, especially if you had that ability to be like, have like portals and just pop up whenever and just be like, okay, everybody come, 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 and I'll save you. Or if like anywhere else that was dealing with some type of turmoil, and you could just get everybody into that and just transfer them into another part of the world that was safer, cleaner, better
Yeah.
utilized. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that would be such a great way to not be selfish with your power, but just be selfless so that you can truly help and embody that hero mindset. So I
Yeah.
guess my next question is what would you tell children that are trying to live a better life and really embody this hero mindset?
What I would tell children is that don't look for perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Keep trying. You're going to find your purpose. You will grow. You will learn. You will discover who you are to find your purpose. I think a lot of time, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try different things. Um, and the reason why I believe I would say that because I think a lot of times, and here's another one. Don't mimic or feel like you have to be like the next person.
Oh,
Because,
yes, thank you.
we see that so much where we see, well, I want to be like them, which is a good thing.
To
And
a
it could be,
degree.
it could be a positive thing, but yet you don't have to be exactly like them. You can bring your own uniqueness into whatever that is for you.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we mimic, especially with social media, we mimic things that we feel like we gotta look like, and it doesn't, it don't have to be like that.
Oh, absolutely. I agree because one thing that I always say, or what I've been saying lately, is that we look into other people's lives and we think that our lives should be the same way and they should reflect the same manner, not realizing that it ours is just fine. You know what I mean? We just have
Yeah.
to find this discovery within. We're continuously looking outside of us to find answers, but in reality, we have to just turn the script and turn the page and just flip it and just remember like it's in here. Just find that self-discovery. Just ask yourself, what do you like? What makes you wonder? What makes you curious? You know what I mean? What sparks that joy? What sparks that curiosity for you to want to know what if, you know what I mean? And that lets you get creative and imaginative. Oh my goodness, I love it because we need to bring that back into children and into the youth, reminding them that they're great. You know what I mean? They're perfect as they are. You know, you are amazing as you are, but you have this own uniqueness. You were brought into this world to help or to serve or to do whatever that it is, but you will never find it if you continuously look on the outside of you. But if you look on the inside, you'll step into it right away and you won't even know that it's happening. It would be effortlessly, you know what I mean? And that's the
Yeah.
thing. It's truly is effortlessly. And I wish more people would really embody that. So what are your hopes in when you wrote this book?
My hopes when I wrote this book is to empower the next generation, empower them, guide them through emotional intelligence, um, being able to be adaptable
Yeah.
when it's, dealing with life, because a lot of times we see things and we don't know how to adapt. Um,
Yeah.
being able to navigate change
Oh, yes.
because, things happen. So that's why it's, my hero's new journey, being able to navigate change and challenges without losing hope, faith, their own dreams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and just to normalize vulnerability again, to normalize it. It's
Yeah.
okay. We're gonna go through things happen, and feeling that pain and struggle and finding the strength in each moment as well. So yeah.
I love that. I love that response. It's beautiful because I don't think people realize that when a child loses hope, oh my goodness, their chemical balance changes, their direction through life, their outlook in life totally changes. And the fact that you talked about adaptability, I love the fact that you talked about that. That's something that I say all the time is that we have to learn how to be adaptable. We have to learn how to be well-minded, well-rounded, and we have to start recognizing that protection is sometimes can be perceived and misconstrued as punishment, but it's actually
Mhm.
protection. You know what I mean? But we won't see that until later on in our years. So if your mother is telling you don't hang out with those people, it's not because she's trying to be mean, it's because she's trying to protect you because you don't see what she sees. You know what I mean? So we have to start like having these open conversations and being more honest with these children so that they can actually see where we're coming from, that we're not that big bad wolf, but we're the ones that are truly trying to help you avoid certain turmoils and struggles and pain that you don't really need to endure, you know, because everyone's going to experience some type of trauma. So it's kind of irrelevant. It's kind of like unrealistic to think that you can protect your child from every type of trauma that's out there. But there is a way to protect them from the minor things that don't need to happen, like hanging out with the bad crowd, starting drugs super early, starting alcohol super early. You know what I mean? Doing things that can get you in trouble. You know what I mean? Those all those little things we can guide our children, guide the youth in such a way that can really bring power into the family, into our lives, and into just the community in general, because one life can make a big difference. So it's like if one life can make a big difference, then one life can also cause a ripple effect to so many others, you know, and we want that ripple effect. We want to know that my child is going to do something invaluable, that if I were to die tomorrow, that they will have a good, well-minded, well-rounded, adaptable perception of life, that they can do life. You know what I mean? So it's like we
Right.
need to have these life skills and provide them to everybody so that they know how to take care of themselves. You know, it's not about gender roles, it's about just having that adaptability and well-roundedness, so I absolutely agree. I think more people do need to think about it in that manner. And it sucks. Go ahead. I see you were going to say something.
Yeah, because I love what you also said. Because as a parent, we do see things and we try to guide them away from certain situation, and we may not see the whole picture. But that
Mhm.
brings me up to judgment and observation. There's a
Mhm.
difference. Uh, just because I'm observing something don't mean that I'm judging it.
Yes.
And I think
Yes.
that we have to really think about that as parents, as society, period. We're big to use the word, you can't judge me or don't judge me, but just because I'm looking and observing does not mean that I'm judging. Because for me, judging is only done by one person, and that's God, period.
Mhm.
So in return, I can't judge you. However, just because I'm looking at something or observing something does not mean that I am judging it. I'm actually just observing. Maybe I'm observing how I can implement something into my life. Maybe I'm observing how I can do something different. That would be the same
Yeah.
thing, but do something different. Maybe I'm just observing behaviors. Maybe I'm just observing things, but that just because I'm observing does not mean. And behaviors is another thing. We get triggered on words because behaviors does not mean that they're bad behaviors. There are awesome good behaviors and there are awesome, oh, excuse me. Let me rephrase that. There are awesome good behaviors and then there are bad behaviors, but
Yeah.
behaviors are behaviors, whether good or bad. So just
Yes.
I think we need to really think about that when it comes to life, period, and our children.
Yeah, absolutely. Because observational learning is something in our psychology. We do all the time. So we really do have to separate the two and acknowledge that. So I'm so glad you said that, girl. Oh, I am so glad you said that. I'm so glad that you said that because we do not take that into consideration. And just because somebody observe something and they voice their opinions out doesn't mean that's a form of judgment or judging. That's not their place, and that's nobody's place, and if we're taking it that way, then maybe that's something that we need to do some inner work within ourselves and figure out where that inner healing is, because if you're hurt by it or you're offended by it, well, then maybe that's an opportunity for you to learn why, where, how, when, what, what I mean, all the W's, so that you can really work on that, so that you can use that offense as wisdom later on in your life. And that's something that people really need to do. And time is really catching up to us, LaTanya. And I'm really sad because I feel like I could keep going down so many different avenues with you. But what can be some lasting words that you can leave us off with to keep on thinking?
Um, some lasting words to keep on thinking. Let's continue to prepare our kids for their own journey. Um, let's give them hope, value, create a safe space for them to be able to share their thoughts and their feelings.
Yeah,
Um, help them express their feelings. I'm gonna go back to emotional intelligence. A lot of times they don't know how to express their feelings. And let's change the excuse me, let's change the platform. Let's break the negative stigma and build a positive stigma where we're turning hard days into teachable moments and we continue to take the good days and raise them. So
absolutely.
yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah, so with that, that's all about my book, which will be out in mid November. It is published by Christian Faith Publishing and it's called My Hero's New Journey.
I love it. I love it because it really holds value in everything that God wants us to do. You know what I mean? To not judge, to have hope, to persevere, to endure, to
Yeah.
assist, to be that light, that beacon of light when in those dark places. You know what I mean? And when we are able to teach that to our kids, then it changes. You know what I mean? Like you see these positive effects where a child notices that some other child doesn't have food for lunch. So what do? They gather around and they pick a little bit out of their lunch and they give it to that other child. You know what I mean? That's a beacon of light. That's hope. That's
Mhm.
causing a ripple effect, letting that child know that you're seen, you're heard, you're valued, and I care for you because you are alive. You know what I mean? And I think more people need to have that understanding. Like if you have breath, if you have heartbeat, then you matter. It doesn't matter if you have no limbs or one limb. You know what I mean? As long as you are breathing and have a heartbeat, then you are doing exactly what you need to be doing. And that's persevering to keep going through enduring because your story, your testimony will save somebody, will help somebody in one way or another. So, yes, I agree. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know more about LaTanya, because how could you not? Go check
Mhm.
her out. Have access to her link so you can find all the greatness that she has to offer the world, find her book, find all these other great content so that you can continue on thinking. Oh, so you can continue on thinking because isn't that the point? Yes,
Yes,
it is. So,
yes,
with
it
that
is.
being said, bye.